as you can see, I've got Shoko here today, and she's gonna go through what she thinks are contributing factors for me making my recovery. Because, as I've said before, that's okay. As I've said before, I was not coherent at that time. So, Shoko, over to you.
So first of all, thank you so much for your support following Jeremy's YouTube channel. It's been a huge motivation for him. And thank you for your warm thought and kind messages and all the support. It's without it, we are not here. So thank you so much.
But to start with, Shoko has identified a list of items, and you were quick to praise the quick response of the Japanese doctors.
Yes, yeah. Early June, and he had some symptoms from his brain tumor. So he had
Stereotactic.
he has stereotactic radiation. Soon after he hospitalized, and the Japanese doctor in KO acted quickly for him to have it. That was a key factor in the end.
I was tripping over my words and having memory relapses, cognitive disruption, and so we went in, and so I was put under overnight observation, and I had a seizure that night, and it wasn't the type of seizures that I have today, which is quivering of the corner of my mouth. I had a full on where my body was shaking vigorously, and lasted for 20 minutes. So it was a pretty awful experience. And I proceeded to have them for the next 2 or 3 days. So the Japanese doctors acted swiftly, and I underwent 3 doses of radiation on my brain. So that was identified as the one key contributing factor.
Yes.
And secondly, you did lots of research, but you faced lots of rejection, first of all, in trying to resume my immunotherapy.
Yes. Yeah. End of August, he started to eat a bit more, and he started to move his legs, and he gradually got his strength back. So I went back to KO hospital to speak to the doctor, and said Jeremy's getting strong. So can he get the immunotherapy again? Can he resume the medication? And he said no, he can't because
I had to be fit enough and strong enough to walk in on my own 2 feet.
Yes, and side effect would probably kill him.
So the KO hospital rejected you twice, and you went to the National Cancer Institute as well.
Yes, I went to see one of the most famous Japanese doctor, oncologist in Melanoma in Tokyo, and he wanted to help you, so he allowed him to have CT scan, and he went there, and I took him with wheelchair, and he did the test, but a week later he said, it's too messy.
Yeah, I was doomed.
Yeah, I can't do anything. There's nothing he can do.
So Shoko went back to the drawing board, and you went to extensive research in countries like Italy, Dubai, Australia.
Yeah, I've been doing that since you were in June.
Yeah.
yes, since you were in hospital, and yeah, I have a friend who's got a contact in Italy, Australia, America. Yeah, so I asked them, I researched what kind of treatment they do. I asked them if there's a contact with doctors, or if I can have second opinion with any doctors, and I actually could get opportunity in those countries. Then I actually had a call with American doctor with the help of friends, research for him, sit next to me, and yeah, I talked to him. But yeah, he said that with his condition at the time, he could only go for clinical trial in America, but there's no many trial that he can have, because
Yeah.
he's got a brain tumor. So
Often clinical trials prefer to start off from a clean slate, and therefore, there's lots of criteria which you have to make or don't have to make to get qualified. So that was ruled out as well. And even getting on board a plane would be difficult as well. I mean, I couldn't sit up in bed. So
yeah, but also as well. But also you don't have an American insurance, so
yeah,
you can't do it anyway.
yeah.
Anyway, America's not wasn't option.
One generous friend did look into fixing me up with Medevac, but these prices were astronomical, and thankfully it didn't come to that. But thanks to John for shout out to John.
Yeah, so there are lots of interesting medicine going in different countries, but there are lots of rules in each country, and in Japan there's not as many.
Yeah.
Melanoma is a rare cancer in Japan.
So one other oncologist that you had good fortune with was the Royal Marsden in London, and we had a Zoom call, and my mother and Choco and myself were present for that. And the oncologist there said, based on my scan results, he would have rejected me as well, but visibly he was looking at me, and I was coherent and lucid, and appeared to have good body strength. I wasn't slouched in my seat. So he recommended that we resume immunotherapy, and he wrote a letter recommending that to KO Hospital as well.
Yeah, one thing that I never had, but I heard from him, was the amount of steroid he was taking was not much. So for that reason, he said he can resume. So yeah, that's interesting factor that I heard from him.
So we went back to KO Hospital.
Yeah, with the letter, but I don't think the KO doctor resumed the medication because of the letter. But you were there to ask for the.
Yeah, I physically was present and stood up and walked around, and we were waiting for like 2 hours before, and
it is tiring to wait in hospital.
Yeah, but I wasn't visibly exhausted, and prior to walking in, we bumped into doctors and nurses, and they were crying.
Yeah, they didn't expect Jeremy to come back hospital.
Yeah. They said to me, I hope to see you back here again. I don't want to see them back there again. But, their sentiment was well intended. And they were all ringing up their friends and colleagues and saying, yeah, Jeremy's alive. And they were really happy. And lots of them were in tears. So then after that, we walked into the doctor's office. and we asked him, and I asked him if I could resume my immunotherapy because I'm strong.
His mom, my mom,
Yeah.
All of us
We
together.
went on force. The doctor was taken aback by an army of people walking in. But, we asked for resumption of the immunotherapy, and we got it. So by a week later, I was on immunotherapy, and 3 weeks later, within 3 weeks, my tumours had disappeared altogether. That was a relief to see them go down, and also to see the graph, which took a steep dive, and there's markers in your body, in your blood, and the doctors were pleased because this meant that the immunotherapy was working.
Yeah, doctor didn't expect that to happen.
No.
And after recently, they said that second time of immunotherapy, if it's not working, it won't work. That's what he said it to me. So yeah, it's not a case for Jeremy. It wasn't a case.
I mean, this immunotherapy apparently only works in 20% of people. So I deserve a bit of luck because
Yeah, and we found out after the blood test in KO to resume the medication that he actually had side effect that we didn't know. He didn't know, but actually his adrenal gland was not functioning because of the medicine. But luckily, he didn't feel any symptoms from it. The adrenal glands produce hormone. If it didn't work, it would bother you, obviously. But he didn't feel it because he was actually taking a steroid for his brain to prevent a swollen brain.
Existing medication that I was taking
was actually filling the gap.
Yeah.
That was another luck.
It's pretty important to state that I was in good health prior to the radiation and the operations. It's important to have a healthy diet and be regularly exercising, which I was. Have sufficient sleep.
I need to wake up my dad. Daddy, you need to wake up now. You need to get ready for the day. We need to do some exercisings too.
At my worst stage, I was pretty much sleeping throughout the day and only waking up for meal times, other than, a couple of hours here and there.
Temperature. Alright, let's... Yes, that's perfect.
I was receiving 24/7 nursing because I was at home and my family decided it would be best for me so that they could nurse me rather than me be in hospital and spend all time in a ward. I mean, I've walked all around those wards with people dying, and literally they are just waiting to die, and it's a very depressing place. So I'm really thankful for that, for my family to make that decision. My sister deals with special needs kids, so she had plenty of experience, and my mother is a carer. So they, combined with Shoko and my father, nursed me 24/7. Always be somebody with me by my side, because I couldn't survive otherwise. I couldn't walk for a long time. I couldn't sit up. Spoon fed. I couldn't talk, so I had to point at pictures on a laminate that my sister drew. I had a home doctor visit daily and nurses who would come frequently as well. and they had to perform some really disgusting for them tasks, and I'm forever grateful to them for their sacrifices. I won't go into detail about what they did, but it was pretty gross. But it involved an enema and something the size of a elephant poo. The home doctor also visiting daily provided daily medicine, so anti-seizure medication, sleeping pills, morphine as well as other painkillers were provided. And it's convenient being in Japan as well, because I had a bath company turn up several times a week to bathe me, and I don't think we get that service in the UK. They would create a bath, build it actually in the room, and lower me down into the bath from using sheets and towels, and 4 of them would scrub me, and the whole operation was done within an hour. Bath dismantled, and they go about their business. I'm not saying this is key to helping me recover, but it's a convenience in Japan that went a long way to helping me and get some comfort. As an update, Choco has just told me that there were actually 3 people scrubbing me, and the 4th was her, and she was the knob specialist. It's also important to mention a solid friend network and family network. We received so many donations and support in the way of meals. Sometimes people will come around and cook for us. Sometimes people would buy us or send us ingredients, which we are eternally grateful for. And also for the children, sometimes people will come over and take out the kids for day trips, and they would walk the kids to take the kids out to the park, or sometimes ferry them to their dance class or karate, whatever their kids did. So that was really helpful, particularly when there was a great strain on the family.
Steps to recovery. This is part 1 of a 2-part episode. Thank you for watching. Look out for the second part soon.